Watch this video to the end, and you'll understand how to quickly and affordably build a reliable foundation on challenging soil. Let's go! So, we've cleared the vegetation, removed excess trees, and leveled the site. On top, there's about 1 to 1.5 meters of construction debris, and beneath that is a dense, solid layer of soil, as revealed by the geological survey. We brought our pile-driving machine here to create a truly reliable foundation. One that transfers the load of the house, not to the upper layers of soil, but to the dense lower layers. This will result in a safe, cost-effective, and ultra-reliable foundation. We delivered 38 6-meter piles and drove them into the dense layers of soil. Each pile varies in height because the dense layers are at different depths across the site. The piles are driven to full resistance, meaning each pile here can bear over 50 tons. We have also installed a septic system under this slab. We have already drilled a well, so there is water available on site. According to the project's schedule, we tried to carry out tasks simultaneously without disrupting the workflow. The piles may appear to be driven randomly, but in reality, the position of each pile is precisely calculated. Each one is located under a column or a load-bearing section. The rebar framework is tied, everything is prepared, and we're starting to pour the slab. Here, we're using concrete that we mix ourselves because it's physically impossible for a large mixer truck to access this site. What's happening here? To recap, we drove in piles, created a formwork for the foundation beam, tied the rebar framework for both the beam and the columns, and now we're pouring it all as a slab. Everything is supported by the piles. This is why we call it a foundation slab. Using this method, you can build any structure on any type of soil, even on a rice field. Here, everything is precisely calculated. Beams and ribs are constructed, and smaller slab sections are placed between them. For the bottom part of the slab, a 2-layer mesh is mandatory, as well as highly durable rebar, ranging from 14 to 19 millimeters, for the load-bearing elements. It's crucial to pay attention to how this entire structure is tied together. For example, stirrups. Each stirrup must have these 2 hooks bent inward into the concrete base. This ensures that when axial loads attempt to crush the column or push the rebar outward, the stirrup holds the structure together and prevents the rebar from spreading apart. These small but critical elements make a significant difference. Additionally, it's vital that the rebar elements for the columns are securely tied to the main column. This includes bends and anchors to ensure everything holds firmly. Corner elements must also be tied together using appropriate corner connections. This framework isn't just randomly arranged rebar. Every element is precisely calculated. It's also important to use the correct type of rebar. While all rebar may look similar on the outside, the chemical composition of the metal can vary. Using grade 420 rebar is critical because it can bear high loads and is structurally strong. Sometimes, in an attempt to save money, a cheaper grade of steel is used. As a result, the structure can fail because the rebar behaves like plasticine. It stretches easily and bends too much. Always ensure the correct rebar specified in the project is used. Double-check this on all your sites. We care a lot about the conditions our employees work in. That's why we build proper construction camps like this on every site. Notice even the windows are aluminum. Everyone lives in very comfortable conditions. No ugly plywood constructions. Everything looks neat. Even the construction camps. After pouring the slab, we smooth it out completely. The foundation slab looks like a perfectly even screed after pouring. This has 3 advantages. It's much easier to clean. We care about keeping our sites tidy. And it's much simpler to sweep or vacuum a smooth surface. On large sites, it's much easier to move materials, for example, with a wheelbarrow, over a smooth surface. It looks aesthetically pleasing. Here you can see our acrobat, smoothing the surface. At this stage, we also install sleeves for utilities like sewer lines, water inlets, and electrical cables. These sleeves make it possible to replace any part of the system later without damaging the structure. For example, if a pipe breaks or a cable burns out, you can easily pull it out and replace it. We also plan ahead for further construction. For example, here there will be a porch, so we've left rebar sticking out, allowing it to tie into the main slab for a secure connection. It's also very important to use waterproofing, which is often neglected in Indonesia. Concrete might seem solid, but it allows small amounts of water to seep through. Over time, this can lead to mold, damaged finishes, and other issues. That's why we always ensure proper waterproofing of the foundation. It's something you should never save on. So, once the slab is poured, we'll wait 4 to 5 days, conduct tests, and determine when we can continue construction. There's no need to wait 21 days, as is commonly done worldwide. Construction can resume as soon as the concrete reaches the required strength. This is verified in 2 ways. We pour 100 by 100 mm concrete cubes and test them in our lab to see how the concrete is hardening. We use a sclerometer, a non-destructive method, to measure the concrete's strength. So, the pouring was completed last night, and the surface was smoothed using a power trowel. That's why you see this perfectly flat and smooth surface. A level surface makes construction much easier because there's almost no slope. We checked, it's just 2 to 3 millimeters across the entire slab. Now, we need to keep the concrete well moistened with water. Prevents the concrete from losing moisture too quickly, which is especially important in Indonesia's hot climate. In 3 to 4 days, we'll measure the concrete's strength. Once it's strong enough to support the walls, we'll bring the panels and start assembling the structure. See you in the next videos.